Hello, everybody. Welcome to my podcast. Yeah, I said it. My name is Dialis, and I do this podcast to share truths and my stories, experiences, just to bring more connection into the world. I will also talk a lot about BTS, review Kim Namjoon's current solo album, Right Place, Wrong Person, definitely filmed over a span of a couple weeks. Hope that you have a great time listening to two girls talk about how much they love Kim Namjoon. It's really meaningful to us, and I hope it's really meaningful to you. Stay with us.
Nuts.
Nuts.
Just remember, Army trended nuts and groin.
And I know why, because we're all a bunch of thirsty hoes.
No,
and
because
we're
we're
5,
13.
and we have potty humor, and
we're 13.
It's funny. We all know that it meant more than that, right?
Of course.
But at the same time,
fun of doing it.
That's Kim Namjoon. That's what he does. He'll throw a slider at you.
Do you have your album? Is it in your hot little hands?
The album?
Yeah.
Yes, I saw it. Yes, I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, you're gonna put it like Super Tuna in my head. Super Tuna will never leave now. It's permanent residence.
Wanna take you
No, don't say.
Sorry.
I told the girls we need to learn the Super Tuna choreo, okay?
Super chumchy. But I like the dunk in the middle of it.
You see the background dancers, though?
I know.
You see the background dancers?
Listen, verse 2. Verse 2 that I saw him like hook the tuna, and I'm like, my guy, I love you. I love props to that guy.
The choreo was excellent.
I love them. Nuts. Nuts. That wasn't the thing for nuts. Funky. I love so
funky.
Blend from right people, wrong place. Right. The pause is almost negligible. Right. So you like if you blink, you miss the pause. You miss that it's there. Right. It's that tight. It's not like the roll that happens from Nuts into Out of Love. Right. There is just this breath. It's just barely a breath, and then you roll into that Parliament funk,
dirty
Parliament funk guitar. I don't know who does that, but
yeah,
so funky, so delicious, so funky, so delicious. But the other thing, like, you might have to go back and listen to it if your ears aren't good or your headphones aren't good. That it pops up in multiple tracks. It's in Come Back to Me. Pretty sure I heard it again, not in I think it's in Heaven.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot softer in Heaven, but I think it's there too. That might be another instrument doing it, but that sound, just like, it is such a small break, and then that sound is just like going, and it's stuck with my brain so much that is my primary note about Nuts. Is that sound was in my head. My secondary note, and that became primary recently. That's like unlistened, I don't know, 6,000. When I'm like really digging deep into the instrumentation now. But when I first heard it, because I still have those notes, I needed to know who hurt Namjoon. Bruh, I am sorry you are hurt. That is not okay. I appreciate the fact that you took all of that pain and rage and distress and made some awesome, evocative, impactful music that I am over here feeling to my toenails.
I had noted one thing about music, especially when you go back to the stuff that you used to listen to, you find a connection into music. You map a song onto somebody or a time in your life or something to that effect.
You mentioned this earlier.
Yeah. And when you can't help but listen to the songs, his recommendations, and not think that music didn't apply, those words, those sounds,
didn't apply to something going on in his life.
That he didn't internalize those things as well, because like you said, that's what you get from the music. You understand this and then you can connect with it. So at first I didn't want to be like, oh, it's about, someone hurt him. But at the same time, you can't deny that.
Was one of those moments. Again, he didn't stutter. He wasn't subtle.
Right. Like, you can't deny that. And I was not respecting you enough, or, to think that I thought you were above it. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense, but
I actually I get that. That does make sense.
okay.
But like, we
Yeah.
forget that they're human. It's that
You
step
know,
away that they're human.
yep.
You're an idol. You don't have real life experiences. So
Mhm.
when you come out and you tell me that someone, something, somewhere has crushed you just a bit, maybe a
Yeah.
lot, and you are spewing that pain back out of you, that darkness, that hurt. Yeah, so I get that point that, like, and I don't know that I was shocked by it because I remember watching him earlier in 2023 on one of his Wii lives.
I
And
felt that he
that
came to us
man,
on
that he came to us shortly after a breakup, right? It was
something happened. Mhm.
something happened,
Yep.
and it
Whether
was
it was a
serious.
fight or a
A
breakup
friendship,
or yeah.
feels like it was permanent,
Mhm.
right? Like serious loss, like we're
Mhm.
done. And loves, and I mean, like he says, love is for idiots, love is for the freaks. And he doesn't mean
Mhm.
freaks in the, freaky deaky yahoo. That's not what he means. At least not, that's not what I think he means. It
Right.
sounds very much like love is for the crazy people. Like, you need to be insane to like do this love bullshit.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
this shit sucks.
Yeah.
That's what.
It's crazy making.
Why would you do that?
Why would I intentionally want to go through this insanity? Like, are you kidding me? Is this what this was all supposed to be about? This is nuts. Like,
This is nuts. Nah, we ain't living that
no.
life. Tell people that I've been blessed. My loves have been on or off. It's either
Mhm.
been great, and when it breaks, it shatters. So I pray to a God I don't believe in. I wish you happiness so that I can break free from the 20s where you were everything to me. When I tell you that I feel like Namjoon was talking to Army, that feels like he is freeing himself from the weight of our expectations. And while it hurts, I'm so proud of him.
There's a stigma on my chest.
And
It's
if he
called
wants to
you.
move,
Yeah. There's this stigma of the K-pop or this
mm-hmm.
stigma that I can't have a normal human life
Right?
because
Just the
I'm
weight of
K-pop.
your expectations have
Yep.
scarred me and will be
My
with me forever.
expectations
For
thinking
myself.
that no, my expectations, me, of
Mm-hmm.
what I thought this song was not about,
Mm.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Like I feel a little called out. That's what your music invokes in people. Makes them look at themselves, look at you as well. Because you can't, no one's going to change you by the words that they say. You are the only one that gets to change you.
And I think sometimes he forgets. He calls himself a poet, but I think he forgets that poets are forever. Words are kept in books, kept on paper, kept on
Yep.
digital. And listen, the way I want this man to write down every lyric he ever wrote and publish
Probably
that
does.
shit.
Remember when he lost all those files?
Oh my God. Oh,
But he got them back.
I've never seen Army turn tech so hard in your life. Army
Dude, with the
technicians
quickness.
everywhere. Sometimes I think he forgets he's a poet and he thinks of himself more as
Mm.
a lyricist. When he's putting these things together, I don't think he sees his work as the poetry that it is, as the art that it is in that moment. I think he's writing lyrics, and what comes out the other end is art, and we're the ones who see it. And he,
I
and
would.
I mean, like, I think he gets there, but I think in the
Mhm.
writing process, he's just writing lyrics. He's just getting his
See,
feelings
I
out.
would challenge that
Yeah,
because of what I found on Indigo. I have it written down somewhere, but he talks about rhythm and poetry, about
right.
rap, and then he pulls it apart, rhythm and poetry, and he
Yeah, I
rhymes
remember that.
rhythm
I
with
remember that. That
something.
was the
Yeah,
sit down interview that he was like talking with the
yeah,
person.
yeah. But I actually, when I had gone through the lyrics, I had figured out, I was like, oh, like,
Mhm,
and understanding that rap really is rhythm and poetry. It doesn't
mhm.
mean it has to be hard spitting lyrics, but
No.
it is words to rhythm and music. And
Mhm.
so I do think he does know that a little bit, or at least now does,
Yeah.
that he can really break away from this mold and just be an artist.
Which is,
And
I
if
think,
anything,
which is the beauty of this.
last time when we filmed our 5-hour
Our
marathon,
marathon.
I had talked about my boyfriend,
Mm-hmm.
and because I did relate this to a relationship, to a
Mm-hmm.
very intense fire inferno relationship that was just crazy when you looked at all the red flags, but it was fire and it was amazing, and it fizzled. It burnt out because it couldn't sustain itself. And so looking back at it, I have written down here, like, it's kind of nuts. And when he had talked about since you left, he has freedom. That was the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
I
relating
was just
myself
going to
to
get
the
to that.
music. When I got out of that relationship with him, and not just my ex-boyfriend, but the friendships that I have broken up with, like, when that was gone, I felt a freedom. I felt different. And I want my memories of those times to be fond, even if it was crazy, even if we had a falling out that was just insane. Some of his words, some of his lyrics in there are like, I wish you well, I wish you good, but this is crazy and I can't keep going anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that of these relationships that were fire, that were amazing, either intense friendships or romantic relationships, and like to that underlining right place, this is the right place, but we are the wrong people.
Mm-hmm. I want
you
to
know
go right to the very beginning. I could make this right place for you. I
mm-hmm.
could. I could. But then we get she's a pro rider. Gaslight. You know, that hoo hoo makes me happy. And there's a sentence. No, but he does that driving thing, that hoo 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 rider thing. Every single time it comes up, I'm hoo 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 hoo. Every time. I want to I'm going to look at that. I could make this right place for you. I could. I could, but I'm going to gaslight you.
Mm.
Both sexes. He's a pro rider. Best gaslighter. They both have that line,
Mm-hmm.
right? So whatever
We're
went
both
wrong,
bullshitting each other.
right? Whatever went
Yeah.
wrong, it was a two-way street. It wasn't
Yep.
just you. It wasn't just me. But so
The
I could,
monster wasn't me.
right? I could
Yeah.
make this right for you. I could either get off my ass and do what I'm supposed to do, or break the fuck up with you without us going through chaos, right? I could make it right,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm a
Mm-hmm.
pro rider. Close your eyes, lay back. I know you're afraid of heights. Never been so.
Sir.
Listen, so,
Sir.
right? Don't say. But why, after all that, don't say goodbye, right? Like the level of want to stay, but I need to go, but I don't want to go, but I need to stay. Wait, I need to go. Right place, wrong person, right place. What do I need to be doing here?
We're laying a foundation of, I'm not gonna do anything right. Basically, both win at each other in this intense way,
right? In
where,
this
like,
unhealthy
really, is
way.
this what this is supposed to
This
be? Like,
incredibly, it was a flu. It was a sickness.
it was a
It was
sickness.
a
It was a
sickness,
flu.
right? I could see the end. We knew it
Mm-hmm.
was going to crash and burn. The monster hasn't been me, right? I'm
Begging you,
begging you.
baby. Mm-hmm.
I want you to forever, ever. I want you to have happiness,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And then just rolls into the next track, and that's when we get our first clean roll. Like the music just layers up, a little, and we're into
Yep.
to Out of Love. And that just screams lyrics.
Oh, that's your notes for Out of Love. lyrics. First note flows right from nuts.
Girl.
I know. I laugh. I didn't want to think it was about nuts and groins, but it is. It's body parts. Let's just call it is what it is. But it does. It just rolls right into it. And for me, the first times that I heard it, and still, it's reminiscent of that old school backbeat, grimy. You got the simple saxophone riff that maybe Namjoon will be able to play himself. Who knows? Like, I'm down in a basement somewhere in a club. I'm going to some of the darker, lower places that I don't think y'all are ready for me to be
y'all
at.
Forget that I started underground.
Right. Like, saying, I'm out of love for y'all bitches. Like, screw you, it's my life. And gosh, the line, honesty is always a crime.
It makes me so mad that this is true for him.
Bars. But it's not just true for him. It's really true for everybody.
It's true for all of us, right? Like, finding a person that you can share your truth with consistently and safely. And, like, that is hard. We're in the fandom and we can't even, talk to, like, each other, general
Yeah.
populace, general
Hmm.
army populace about things without causing infighting and chaos. And,
Even when it's honesty, even when it's
it's
coming
like,
from, yeah.
when you have to disclaim, I don't really like this track. And then you have to like brace yourself for the BS that's going to come your way. You're not real.
Not going to tell people how to fan. No.
I have a
But
friend, one of my army besties. She says she's listened to it and she's not sure. She's
okay.
listened to it several times. She's not sure. I said, "Have you read the lyrics?" And she says, "Yes, those are awesome."
And speaking of lyrics, the line diaries without priorities. I'm writing now, just writing, brain dumping. There's no priority for this. It's just going to be writing. It's just going to be me getting stuff out. I'm getting it out. And it's going to be a little chaotic. It's going to be a little, dirty. It's going to be, but it's another one of those steps that I got to get out before I go crazy. Like saying, you was a grime. You know what you did. You know exactly what you did. Don't try to pretend that you're coming at me like, oh, I don't know. You know what you did. You know you're being grimy. And I love that accountability that he's given to people. While, you take that, you think about honesty, honesty is a crime, but you know what you did. Don't try to front. And that last line, can fuck my body, can't fuck my mind. I think right there, he's creating boundaries. I will talk about later that I found something similar, something that connects to this again.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that term of you are not the right people. You're not the right people. I
So,
might be in the right place because this is where I'm at. This is where I came from, but you're not the right people in this place anymore for
right.
me.
So
Yeah.
when I first heard this, because the first one, I wanted to know who hurt you, who are you talking to, right? In Nuts,
Mm-hmm.
in Out of Love, I'm like, oh, you're talking to fans, army, and I'm just a pack of cigarettes. I'll burn down all the love and the hate, right the wrongs, even the goddamn world I'm living in my whole life. Smoking kills, I know. It's my fucking business. Like,
Mm-hmm.
seriously, this is this man again telling people to mind their own
Yeah.
business.
A cigarette is something, it's a temptation, it's a
Mm-hmm.
taboo.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that if you do that, you're going to stain yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But it is something very common
Mm-hmm.
in the culture that you're living in. So
Mm-hmm.
why wouldn't I be if I'm trying to be a normal person?
It's
People
taboo.
tell you
You know,
is going to hurt you, but again,
it's
let me let me do it. Let me
it's
go through
it's
it.
it's like his own little it's his own Hagem, right? It's his own
No.
Hagem. It's great. I love that about it. I love, like, from a writing point of view, from a BTS consistency point of view. I love the fact that there are so many layers that you
Mhm.
can find in all of their works. Even though
Mhm.
they've worked separately, you know that they have had some kind of community. Even if they
Mhm.
weren't writing together, they've talked about some ideas. There's some over, whether or not that was intentional. These boys have been up in their hip pockets so much that
Mhm.
even the themes, rather, despite how they're expressed, the themes are consistent with where they are in their life. And
Yeah.
people come down on Bang PD a lot lately for any number of reasons that are none of my damn business. One of the things he told them was to write about your life. And they are all in a similar place in their lives right now.
Thank goodness there are 7.
They're all in similar space in their life. They're all re-exploring who they are outside of each other. And that concept has created an arc of songs and albums and tracks that show that journey for each of them. But that arc is still a rainbow, all this one unified thing, even though each color is disparate. And there is some blend because we've got doors and floors and water everywhere.
It's a great way to put
you
it.
know so
Absolutely.
so I'm really
Yeah.
loving that aspect of all of the albums. But it shows up here. It was the first time I noticed it. It was, or not the first time, but it was another time that I noticed it because I also am layover.
It goes back to what he said about they're all in the same boat looking in different directions.
Yeah.
And I started to actually kind of bring that back a little bit, thinking of like the train, because
Mm-hmm.
the train and like, Spring Day and Yet to Come, they're all riding this train together. Now they're going to get off and go on their different tracks. They're still on a train. They're still going. They're going to
Namjoon is
meet.
literally on the train. Tomodachi.
Yeah, but they're all going off to their different points. But just like trains, they
They
all
have to
can
come
come
back.
together
They all come
in
back.
a hub.
If they're all on the same train, they're all in different cars.
Like each car kind of uncouples and it
And
goes, but they're all going to meet
and they're all
again.
gonna come back,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go around this corner and go do this and come back, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
rehook up over here, right? We've
Yeah.
got our engine and Jin's back.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm so happy. I know it doesn't sound like it, but I'm so happy that Ben is back.
The lightness that I can feel in both myself and my friends. I know that Twitter is still a hell space. I saw a lot more accountability and I saw a lot more people. I saw people sharing thoughts again. I saw people writing their feelings again. And there was a lot of celebration, both within, my friend groups and online.
In general. Listen.
And it was like, that's, we're still going to have the noise and the static. That's never going to go away.
First OT7 BTS twit.
And
picture.
How long? Yeah.
God. Oh my God.
If there was any sort of deniability that we do not have a connection together, that has completely been eliminated. When I can literally feel in my body that I am happier, knowing that they all got together and had a meal and that there was laughter filling that room. Just the thought that that happened.
Best day ever.
I could ride on that for years.
Had a really badass day that day, like really bad.
Yeah.
That took away about half my general rage because I was hella pissed.
Thank God that things did happen the way that they did, because kind of right when the steam was about to, then we're getting Jin back. Okay, we're back on
Jin
track.
took one look at that and went, y'all need a hug. Jin is home. Jin is home. Oh, Jin is home. T-6 to go. Whoa, Jin is home. I'm so happy.